Hi, Gary, Eddie, the Tea and Trails family. This is Kat from Northumberland. I'm currently power hiking up a very moderate incline in South Shields. I'm just coming up to the 11-mile marker on the Great North Run, which I totally appreciate is not a trail race, although I am in trail shoes and I have had a wee in a bush. Not a million miles from what we used to. Probably 8 years into my trail running career now, but I come back to this race every year to pay tribute to what got me started in running and to take part in an iconic Northeast moment. Hope you guys are well and everyone's enjoying their long run. Welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast.
Hello and welcome to the #1 trail running podcast, Tea and Trails. Went straight in with a flex. I've checked the charts out, so it is official. We are number 4 in the charts and the top ranking trail running podcast. Always grateful to everyone who tunes in week after week after week. We couldn't...
Always surprised. Always amazed.
Always. 4 years of finding things to natter on about. It's absolutely...
It's not a problem though. That is the worrying thing, Gary. Every week we just tune in and we have a lovely chat and people listen to it. I love it. I do think one day we should just keep it on all day. People could have the all day podcast of our chit chat of absolute rubbish.
I've seen Esme do that with her friends. They have the video, what is it, like WhatsApp call, whatever, and they're just sitting there virtually in their own rooms, but they're still connected, just doing their own shit. We've got a live Great North Run intro from Kat Stevenson. Kat has done 4 Lakeland 50s and a couple of other ultras under her belt, but she keeps coming back to the race that started it all. This sounds like an incredible trail run. She had her trail shoes on, bit of power hiking and a wild wee. She ticked all the boxes. And isn't it funny, when you're on a road race, the slightest of inclines just seems like the biggest of mountains. You're like dragging your sorry ass. But on the trails, fun times.
I have a little 5-mile route on the roads around here. It's only got 200 feet of elevation. I'm always like, oh, I've still got the hill to go. And I'm like, it's not, it really is nothing. Because you'd run that on the trails without even thinking about it. But it's my whole run of should I do the hill first or shall I do it last? Which way should I do it today?
But Kat said she might retire. Don't retire, Kat, please.
No.
Keep doing those Great North runs. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of them still in you. Please keep those intros coming. Email them to hello@teaandtrails.com. Kudos, high fives and big hugs to all our patrons and everybody who's joined Patreon over the last week. For the price of a cuppa, you can help keep the lights hot and the mics on and save big time on all your trail running essentials. Loads of brands offering great discounts over on Patreon. And don't forget, if you would like a snood or a bobble hat, then you need to add your address to Patreon. No address, no goodies. Also join Patreon for a year and you can save 10% on your membership. And if you join the Legend tier or above, we'll send you a bobble hat too. Also, you can gift Patreon. So if you have a Tea and Trails superfan in your life, then spread the love and treat them to the ultimate podcast gift.
One going to Dad. He'll be like, what is this? I want my history magazine.
Oh, I used to love a magazine as a kid.
My kids get magazines every, one gets the week, the junior week. Yeah. I love it. The other one gets the Commando comics. Oh my God, that is when those arrive. It's like, yes, he runs upstairs with them and the door gets shut. And then the other one gets rugby guys, lads. Yeah, I like it. We gave them to them for Christmas and they're still going. They love them.
That's a good gift, that is. I used to get the Metal Hammer as a kid, Warhammer. Used to get the Eagle when I was really young. Football, match or shoot, whatever it was. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. What's the ultimate gift, though? If you were going to give somebody, or you receive the ultimate gift?
Time, Gary. No, I really do think that, now where we are in our lives, that if you've got sort of friends, you go, I've bought us a spa day, a meal out, a cinema trip, or I'm just coming to see you. We're going to go, my dream. Gaza, I'm coming to see you. We're going to go for a run, do the moors, stop at a cafe, and I'll buy you a bit of cake. That to me is the best.
I was thinking a metre diameter apple crumble or something like that.
Or food. Or both together. I'm bringing the crumble.
Imagine if you had gloves, like pies, but that were gloves too, so you'd have warm your face. You've never thought of that? You'll have warm hands and then you can nibble on them later on when you're hungry. No.
Okay, let's move on. Thanks to X Miles, Fuel Hydration, Trail Running, Phoenix Light UK, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring our show. X Miles is a family-owned independent endurance sports retailer that provides nutritional goods, apparel, and accessories to help athletes perform and recover at their best. X Miles offers a wide range of high-quality products from leading brands, and their team of nutrition experts, cyclists, runners, and outdoor enthusiasts can provide expert advice and guidance to help you reach your goals. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just getting started, X Miles is the perfect place to find everything you need. Listeners can get 10% store credit at www.xmiles.co.uk via the link in the show notes. As I'm reading that, I can hear you heavy breathing down my ears. Oh no. All I get is, oh, stop. Oh, God's sake.
I'm still thinking about the ultimate gift.
You're still licking your pies.
Gold card, Greg's gold card. Someone buys me a tray of just simple sugar donuts. That's incredible.
Yorkshire puddings, all you can eat roast.
God, yes.
Long run, all you can eat roast. Afternoon on the sofa with a new film starring Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. That's too much. Thank you, Go Through Project. You can't get enough. I know. God, those I'd love to just put my pie hands on his X. Very grateful to Yugoku Projects for producing the Tea and Trails caps. Pop over to Yugoku Projects if you'd like one. Don't forget, patrons receive 20% off. If you're looking for all our discount codes, head over to Patreon or teaandtrails.com or check out the show notes. If you're looking for them on Patreon, you need to go to Patreon on the homepage and go to posts, and it's pinned at the top.
It's all there. Don't DM me where the code's at. It's all there.
It's all there. People are like accuse you of taking them down, I think. Where are they? Where have they gone? Where he's keeping them to himself, and you're just surrounded by a huge number of boxes from X Miles. And you're going, with your pie hands, bring them to me. Let's do me first, because I'm so boring, Gary. And
Has it been a happy week?
I thought the week before was quite low, and then this one went low. But I can't even look on my Strava bars because it would be so sad. Anybody that's injured or ill or not able to do their training, just don't even look. Let's not even go there, because isn't it funny? You only look when it's good. When it's bad, I'm like, I don't want to know.
Bruising.
You know what? If I don't know, then I can't be sad. So I thought the week before was pretty tough, and then this week we reached a new low. Actually, we reached a new parenting low, Gary, because we recorded the podcast on Tuesday and it had started off okay, hadn't it? And I'd done a couple of runs. I was a bit lost because I didn't really know what to do with feeling ill, and then not wanting to like push but still wanting to rub. It was so boring. So we finished the pod. I said goodbye. We both went, oh my God, I'm starving. I reheated some pasta-y roasted vegetable thing that I'd had the night before, which I do regularly, and then had my little 15-minute post-lunch nap, which again, I'd like to pretend, but I do regularly as well. And I woke up and I was like, I do not feel good. I do not feel good. And I lay there going, oh no. And then I had the most apocalyptic food poisoning for the next 12 hours. Is it The Exorcist?
Both parts of your body it was coming out of?
Thank God it was not. Again, that's too much details, but I felt so ill. And I had sort of calls lined up all afternoon. I sort of spent an hour going, I could still do these calls like from my bed. And then I thought, no. The saddest thing was it was oldest child's birthday. And so he was coming back to have cake. And I was meant to go and watch him play. Anyway, I couldn't, no. So they came back home and we sang Happy Birthday while I was in the toilet.
Stay classy, Eddie.
I'd come out and then I'd go, nope. And they'd be like, so Mum, then we did this. And as they were talking to me, I'd be like, oh my God. The only thing I could think of was thank God that Bryn was at home, because I don't know what I would have done. I'd have had to do the school run holding a bucket. It would have been horrendous. So they all ate cake just far enough at the bottom of my bed with me going, just don't let me, just don't, I don't want to sit.
Humans are the best at being sick, I think. I can't think of another animal. I read your notes and I was just thinking, Rex was sick last night. This is why it's kind of front and centre of my mind. Humans are spectacularly good at being sick. I can't think of another animal that's sick like a human.
And purging themselves of like, it doesn't stop. And it was really funny. I'm really sorry if you're eating or running or feeling a bit nauseous, but it keeps going. You almost feel the body working through like, and then the last bit comes and you're almost like instantly, you're like, the demon has gone. Oh God. And then, it wiped me out because already I was pretty wiped out with 0 iron in my body. And then I had 0 calories. And so I had spent the next day, I was like, oh, I can't get up. And then I just had to have a word with myself because I thought, this is not an option, Eddie. You're going to have to get up. So I got up, got the kids to school, and I was like, right, have a shower. And that seemed like winning. Yeah, I missed sort of like a day and a half worth of running, and then, not that it matters, and then the next day we ran across a field to get up onto the track with the dogs, and it's a mile to get up on this track. And I got to the track and I just was like, it's not happening. It's not happening. Turned around, came back, gave myself another 24 hours, and I did feel better then. It was pretty much then spending time trying to catch up on the calories. Managed one strength session. Actually, I did feel pretty good in the strength session. I think probably because I hadn't done very much all week. I'd just then eaten. Upped my weights, up my deadlift, up my chest press. Love a bit of chest press, Gary. Do you do chest press in the gym?
Top is hench enough.
Tom, who told you that? So enjoyed my strength. I put on We Made Lucy. She's very nearly at the end of her FKT, Southwest Coast Path. I don't know if you've been following her on Instagram, but we made her a playlist. It is incredible, the eclectic music list on this. And I laughed thinking, who chose this? Was this Trish? Was this Robin? Don't think Trish chose the opera tunes, but it's great, Bela. So I enjoyed listening to that while I was doing my strength. And then, I was single parenting for then 4 days, which, oh my God, Gary.
It's tough.
It was tough. You messaged me going, good weekend?
I got nothing back.
No, I didn't know where to start. I thought I'll save that to the podcast because I didn't hardly see my sofa, which is always a bad sign. I literally drove kids around. Oh my God, I think we had like 8 different sports, packed up snacks, tea, my laptop, my book, and Evie, who lives... All the planning. The sideline kid, Evie, has grown up side of a piste and now the side of rugby and football pitches. She's very happy though. She sets herself up with a little dry robe, lays it out, gets her colouring out, and then spends the time seeing how many cartwheels she can do. She's very good. If you've got,
does she enjoy a cuppa as much as you do?
Oh yeah, so she has a hot chocolate, I have a cuppa, and all the different places we go to, we know like how far it is to walk to get the tea and the hot chocolate, and whether we've got time. And we have a great time, lovely chats. Or sometimes I get one of those terrible like frappuccino milkshakes, which I think has more sugar in than they should have in like a week.
I always think that's a puzzle. If you go to say wherever, any of these fast food joints, and they have the calories up there for whatever their mega bucket is.
Oh, why do you do that? Don't tell me.
I can't understand why.
In my muffin.
No, but see if you went to Burger King and the meal was like, say, 2,500 calories. How are they even allowed to produce a meal that's got more calories than what you need in a day?
Yeah, not for people like us though that are runners. That's great. 2,000 calories per meal is ticking the box. I'd smash a couple of those. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a reason they do that, but who's going to make a different choice when they see the calories? Would you, if you saw the calories?
Well, no. If I was going to the KFC or whatever it was, that's exactly
you know what you're
I'd
getting.
want.
If you walk into those,
This is why it's wild. I've got too much knowledge from McDonald's, but I think even McDonald's only sell like sugar-free fizzy drinks anymore. I'm like, read the room. People are here for a treat.
Do they
it's
really?
Like 20 chicken nuggets, but then a diet Pepsi. It's wild.
We had a sports injury and we had to go to the A&E. There was a vending machine, and obviously they'd been playing sport for a couple of hours, got injured, and then they were starving and a bit like in shock and a bit like, I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll get you some Lucozade or something like that. And the whole thing is sugar-free. There's nothing. And I'm like, I can totally get why that is.
The guy in the stepper in the gym last night, he had a can of sugar-free Monster. What?
Oh.
What is that about?
What is
I'm there with my bag of fruit pastels, like grab bag, scoffing on these fruit pastels. He's there with his sugar-free
pie hands
Monster.
in with the
pie hands, yeah.
Yeah, it was a down. It was not a good week. Nothing happened. I didn't achieve anything, and that makes me sad. I didn't really feel any better, mainly because I was just rushing around, and I was like, how can I create red blood cells when I can't? I need some time. Anyway, everybody will be pleased to hear I've had a real strong word with myself, and the pity party is over. I'm not having it. I'm not sitting in that pity party. That's not me, and I don't want to be like that person. So I'm just getting on and getting up with it. It was funny. After Finley's rugby games, his coach always sends really good WhatsApps, and I screenshot them because he always sends really good, like, coach, he's really deep thinking coaching stuff. Anyway, he sent this quote, and I was like, this is me. I am so like Muhammad Ali right now. He's talking about the boys, but I thought, this, I need to remember this. The fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights. Everybody knows that quote, but it was really apt for me because I've been talking to Lucy most days while she's doing a Southwest Coast bath, and I said to her, do you think I should just enter the spine? Shall I just see if I can get an entry and just go and do it? And she was like, you idiot, what are you thinking? I was like, I just feel like I need something. I need a race. And then that made me think about, like, where's my motivation in running? Where is it? And it really was lacking the last couple of weeks. When you don't have a race and you're not feeling great and running feels really hard, the last couple of weeks, it's not been effortless. So I can't just go for a jog because I feel tired, I feel heavy, and I'm really out of breath. Normally, it's running isn't like that. There is, every week you have a run when you're like, oh, I'm tired and this is a slog. But every run has felt like that for the last, really, since Race Across Scotland. I've got no race on the horizon. I haven't got anything to build towards. I'm a bit like in a rubber ring, floating around, waiting for, saving lives at sea. Waiting for the always incredibly good-looking RNLI people to come and rescue me.
The tide will turn, though, Eddie. The tide will turn, and you look back and you'll forget all about this. It's like an injury, isn't it? That moment when you stop being worried about your achy knee or whatever it is.
And you realise I've not thought about it. And I think that will probably be the same with my iron levels. I thought Lucy's reaction was really good because she was like, absolutely no way. And if there's anybody, Lucy and I together would go and probably be like, yeah, we can run 100 miles in 2 days. Yeah, that's fine. We can put that together. We can do that. And so I was like, oh, she says that. Yeah, what am I doing? I need to get healthy. And also my journey with running, and everybody's journey with running, listening to, it's not always the same. And we always want it to be the same. We want to be in that routine. And before Race Across Scotland, I was in a really good training cycle. And I think that's probably why I feel like so angry and cheated, because I'd had like 4 months of like really good training. I was really fit. And then the carpet got pulled. And then now I'm like at the total other end of the scale of like, there is nothing. I'm really unfit. I've got a massive mountain to climb to get back to fitness. I don't know. There's no time scale. So I've listened to various podcasts, read lots of research, and it's like, this isn't a quick fix, and it can take months, and you can go backwards before you go forwards. And it's like horrible uncertainty. But what I can control, so with all these things, everybody, I'm getting round to my point, don't worry, is I can control my behavior and the way that I behave in front of my kids, which is always my biggest thing, how running is in my life. So I was like, turn this frown around. I know everyone likes that phrase. I was like, okay, I can't enter a race. I can't do a race. One of the biggest things with anemia is that the longer stuff is the stuff that is not good for me right now. So a long run is out of the question. So what can I do? Well, I can still run, even though it's painful, at least so, but I can still do it. Just reframe. I'm getting out, I'm getting the fresh air. So this morning I ran up the road, the lane up to our house, and I looked in all the hedgerow and I was looking at all the berries and all the little birds, and I was like, normally I'd be like, back up, get in, get my sit. And I was like, this is perhaps running for the next month or so is just there. Get me outside, get some fresh air, move my body. Does it always need to be working towards this? As runners, that's how we're tuned. That's what we want to be doing. We want to be achieving, we want to be building. But maybe this can become a good thing in some ways of like actually having a different relationship with running, with how it fits into my life. And doing this work when I don't really want to, and it sucks and it's boring. It's so boring because I can't run any faster, even if I try. I was trying to chat to my sister on the phone and I was like, okay, I can't do this. I don't know where this journey's going. I don't even know what I'm trying to explain, but I'm just trying to, so if other people are in the same situation, and it might feel like, because I'm not going to do any races, does that mean that I don't achieve anything? Or actually, by working on my health, working on my relationship maybe a little bit with running as well, I am still achieving, just because I'm not going to races. Always when we get to races anyway, we always go, I don't know why I do races, hate them.
Yeah.
I much prefer training. It's just because I can't train. I so love training. And maybe as well, that's a really good thing, is I'm realizing how much I love training. Maybe I don't even need the race. I just love being able to do efforts and feel that. And at the moment, I can only get that feeling by running a long way really slowly, but I can't even do that. Anyway, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to explain, but maybe if people are in the same boat a bit, they'll feel the same way. They're different reframe. There's lots to be joyful for. I just have to maybe work a little bit harder to find it at the moment than normally. I'm a kind of upbeat person, but I think as well that is a symptom of anemia, is low mood. So I need to recognize that and be like, this is okay to feel this way. So I've had a reset this week though, and been like, you're fine to jog, so get off your ass and get jogging, my friend. And I'm trying to do a different thing every day to run somewhere different. Because also it's because I'm running so slow, it's not very comfortable. You're like running slow, like a sort almost like a shuffle, like a 200-mile shuffle. You can't stride out because I can't then get the air in. Anyway, it's a step up from last week, and that's all we're gonna focus on. You had an exciting week. Yours,
I have, yeah.
You were an influencer. Did you influence people?
Those Scott Kinnabarlows were flying off the shelves. I felt like I was on the back foot all week. Monday, I was winning in life. I mentioned I'd done the gym, but as far as strength work, that was it. Yeah, sad times. I did some mobility sessions just on the carpet, watching Bake Off, catching up watching Bake Off.
Oh, we love a bit of Bake Off.
It's not all the carnage, so I never tire of watching like a car crash bake or a sensational bake. I absolutely love it. It was the rolls, what they called, Arctic rolls, Swiss roll.
Oh, how do they do that? And it's always a disaster. Do you think they make it? Because the tent is always so hot.
Yeah.
So how are they meant to do it? If I was like a proper baker in that tent, I'd be like, I'm not working in these conditions. I cannot produce my Arctic roll.
Some nail it, but oh my goodness me, some poor guy. It just
was it the same one with the little pink fancy ones? Was it that one? Have you seen that one where they make?
Oh, the Fun and Fancy, yeah.
And Paul was like, oh my God, I've got to eat all of these.
Have you got a signature bake?
I think it'd just be like a classic scone, Gary. I would never. It gives me anxiety that I'd wake up and find myself in that tent because I have no creative bone in my body. You would be incredible at it, Gary. If you could teach yourself to bake, you'd be amazing at all the designing stuff.
The detail and the patience to create something that looked phenomenal. Flex, sorry. I think I could do that. But the knowledge, the baking knowledge, I follow a recipe from a book. My signature dish would be a blueberry tart. I've made that blueberry tart from the finished cookbook so many times. I still need the recipe. I can't do it. I do a vegetable stew and dumplings. I have to use the recipe. If I must have made this stew and dumplings for 10 years, it just doesn't go in there.
That's all right.
But I don't mind sitting there for hours and hours and hours and hours doing it.
No, doing all the, like, measuring out all the icing and then...
I am in my element. I'm in my element doing that. Yeah, another week on the Arbon app, so that included the couple of steady runs. I had such a blast last week with steady runs. I just did exactly the same again. A lot of it is because you do get a few options with the core workouts, and this steady run sandwich that plays well into my local trails. Some of the other sessions I need a 20-minute hill, which I just don't have to execute that workout properly without getting in the car. I could do it on a Saturday or Sunday at the lakes, but this steady run with 8 times 45 seconds sandwich, that works really well. And I just love it because a steady run, I mentioned to you the other week, if it's wind assisted and downhill, I can be doing some 7-minute milings on these steady runs, and I'm just clipping along. I'm like,
there's nothing like a clip along.
Love it.
Along, and you're like, we spend so much time jogging, and then when you just extend those hip flexors, you're like, still got it. Sorry,
this is a bit of an overshare. I had a trail poop on my steady run.
At what point did you think, I'm going to share this with Eddie? Eddie's going to love this story.
Well, there'll be people out there who do. I don't know if you love it or not, but there'll be people out there who they have these little nature breaks, whether they want them or not, out on the trail. So it happens to everybody. I was fine when I was doing the steady miles. As soon as I started the 8 times 45 seconds,
the sphincter opened.
I was in a whole lot of trouble. But once you've released the cargo, it's fun times. You're up and about after that. 2 long runs at the weekend. So on Friday, I did the Northern Traverse Recce I went past 9 standards. I thought 9 standards was about 9 mile away from Kirby Stevens. It maybe is 4 mile away, maybe a little bit more than that.
No, it's definitely a marathon away. It is miles away. It's only 4 miles.
Yeah, it wasn't that far at all. So I just had to keep going off the other side. But they are flagging it all. That's probably a lot different to the last time you were there.
There were no flags. No flags last time I was up there.
Matt Neal and his team, they are doing a sterling job.
Was Matt up there?
He wasn't, no, but he has been up there.
Carrying.
I spoke to Mel Sykes on Friday night, and Matt has been on that part of the coast to coast.
Are we asking Matt to come on the recce? Because Matt will destroy us all if he becomes part of our recce route. And he'll say we're still walking. Why are we walking? Yeah. Come on, let's keep jogging.
Invites for everybody. But yeah, it was great. I've never been to Nine Standards. It's quite a weird situation when you're up there. It's like just out of nowhere, you've got these big 9 structures. I should have done some history, actually, what it's all about. I didn't check it out.
Were you envisaging yourself like, how am I going to feel in the race when I get to this bit? Because it's like 80, 90 miles in, I think. You're coming out of like a big leg there. You're probably like windswept if you had hair.
So on my watch, when I was standing in Kirby Stevens and I loaded up the Northern Traverse GPX file, I hope I can change this on the day because I don't want every mile to count down. It said like 108 miles to go or something like that.
That is what I got accidentally on my watch, I think, for that. And it just, all I could see was the flag going.
I need to do checkpoint to checkpoint just to break it up because on the Seven Valleys recce I did on Saturday, I've got checkpoint to checkpoint. So that's how it breaks the segments within the run.
So do you have to restart your watch then after each checkpoint?
No. It just keeps carrying on, but then it'll reset. You've got 6 miles to the next checkpoint. So I need to do that. Okay. Even though Northern Traverse is still going to be quite big chunks, but I do not want, 108 or count down from 200 miles. That will be soul destroying. But yeah, it was really good. But the thought of coming out of Kirby Stevens with best part with over 100 miles to go. The
only nice thing is Kirby Stevens, lovely checkpoint. It's your first like one where you'll probably... You get whatever time of day you get there, you get your bag. So you get a bit of, and then it's straight uphill. So you're just going to walk straight uphill for 4 miles, basically. And so it gives your muscles a nice, because you've run pretty much from Shap across all the fields, run height. It's a lot flat. There's not a lot of hills. It's a lot of like a bit tricky nav through gates. Yeah. It's lots of stop starting. And then when you leave Kirby Stephen, it's like you've got no gates. It's really simple. You go up the road and you head on Matt's flagstone. Before it was tricky at the top to get the right line because there wasn't a path.
Yeah. The signage is great too. So there's definitely new signs being put up, which, I think when I was...
It's like I'm doing Northern Traverse. I want this. So I want the course record.
So I did, so basically I did an out and back from Kirby Stephen to past the 9 Standards. Then when I came back, I went the other direction too, just because sometimes when you come into a town or a little village...
It's tricky, Yeah.
I thought I'd do that. And then the Saturday recce was just the last 15 miles of the Seven Valleys. Then I bus wankered it back to the car park. It was incredible. And when I went to Reggae service station, this is like first world problem, to charge my car up, I think I nearly had road rage. It was that tense on the limited charging spots. I felt like I was in Reggae service station for 10 hours waiting to get a spot. Probably only there for 30, 40 minutes at most. But what I did do, I've had a right celebrity spotting weekend. I saw Keith Wigley in Reggae service station. He was getting his after run
celebrity
snack.
That's a big word to throw.
Well, he had his GB tracksuit on, flexing. I would do the same, Keith. Sorry if you're listening. I'm not throwing you under the bus. I would do exactly the same if I was representing the country. And yeah, good luck to everybody who's going out to the champs. 2 weeks over in Spain, I think it is. And then also on Friday nights at the Scott Run Experience, previewing the new Kinabalu, which are not out until 2026. It was a real treat to see these shoes early. I shared the trails with Mel Sykes and Shaw Merriweather. That's 3 previous guests. Talking about the Scott Run Experience, that was great. So we did a local, starting off at the Village Hall in Kendal, then we did a nice little loop and back, had pizzas. I was super grateful to Scott to invite me along because I've just never done anything like that. And no matter what part of the country you're in, you don't know 90% of the people, but they are your tribe and you can just spend an hour or 2 with these people. And it was lovely. On the way home, I had to have a nap because I don't know why I was so tired. So I pulled over on the A66 and I thought, excellent, this is like, I've never done that little trail nap or anything like that. So I thought, there's no way I'm going to sleep on the side of the 66 as these trucks go zooming past my car. It was rocking backwards and forwards. It was super noisy. I set a 20-minute alarm. As I was sitting there thinking, I'm never going to fall asleep, the next thing I knew was incredible. We bought... This is it sad times or fun times? We bought a new TV. But I was in like tuning in heaven like on the Sunday, scanning the QR codes, getting the 2-factor notification, authorising it. Oh my goodness me. I had the best time doing all of that. Podcast-wise, I'm back listening to the Morning Shakeout with Mario Frioli.
Okay, I've never listened to that. I might give it a go. Depends.
It was like putting on an old pair of slippers. I binned it off because he lost his cadence. I think at even one point the podcast stopped. Out of all the people I listen to, he is such a good interviewer. I'm not too sure what it is. He strikes the balance. He asks the right questions. He gets the right tone. The editing is spot on too, which I think is like an overlooked part of some podcasts where they could be great, but they just don't really spend the time polishing it up at the end. Yeah, so if anybody's out there after a podcast, I think they'll really enjoy the morning shakeout. It's not always running. It could be maybe there's usually a running or some kind
Sounds familiar.
There's usually a thread, maybe the guest. It could be a journalist, a photographer, but they do run. There's always, like, say, a running thread in it. But yeah, fantastic.
How are you feeling about Seven Valleys next week?
I've got no aspirations for any times or anything like that. I'm totally at a loss to how long it's going to take me.
28 hours is the cut-off. I've looked at the cut. You think you'd be all right?
It starts super early. I think it's like a 6 o'clock in the morning start.
Yeah.
I've got a little hope, probably going to get a reality check at some point, but I'd love to get in before it's dark. And obviously it's about 8 o'clock now, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, I think it's a bit early. I think 8 o'clock. Yeah,
that's 14
maybe.
hours. The person who came fourth last year was over 14 hours.
Yeah.
Alex standing fourth, who I think is a faster. I don't know what race Alex had. I where it sat in his calendar of.
You've got a beautiful day with really good dryish conditions. It's not going to be dry underfoot now, is it? But dryish, and you can see that'll make such a difference.
It was so wet on the trails.
Yeah, I can imagine
Saturday.
It was sloppy.
I don't want to sandbag. Like, I've got no aspirations as a performance point of view. I'd love to get around and not be sick, and I'd love to get around and not spend a half an hour, 45 minutes on each checkpoint just trying to sort myself out. If I can do that, if the nutrition strategy works, then I won't spend that much time in the checkpoints. Maybe this kind of somewhere between 15, 16 hours is possible. Thanks Precision Fuel and Hydration for supporting Brew the Coaches. Their website and newsletters are such a good source of knowledge, articles to read and YouTube content to binge on too. On YouTube you can learn how to fuel an ultramarathon, what pro runners carry on race day and how to nail your marathon prep. Precision Fuel and Hydration helps athletes personalise their hydration and fueling strategies so they can perform at their best. They will help you know your numbers too. They have a handy free online sweat test and nutrition planner. Head over to www.precisionhydration.com and don't forget patrons get 20% off, and all you lucky listeners can enjoy 15% off your first purchase with the code TEATTIME2025. Talking about the Seven Valleys, nutrition. I slid over to Precision Fuel and Hydration the other day and did their nutrition planner. It came out with slightly lower than normal. I think last time when I did Lakeland 100 it was targeting me for higher than this, but it's recommending me about 60 grams of carb and one of those pH 500s in a bottle, but consume around 300 millilitres per hour, but give or take 150 mil. So it could go up to say nearly 500. When I look at what I drink and eat when I'm out training, especially the liquid side of things, that is pretty faithful to that. So I'm happy with that. But like always, you need to own your own race. You can't just faithfully bury yourself in a hole and follow that 60 grams and that nutrition and fluid strategy too. So but the good thing is with 7 valleys, 13 valleys, whatever it is you're doing, the checkpoints are awesome. So if I'm hanging, I'll just be, was it last year? Was the Freddos, the Baby Bells?
The Freddos, that was the first time they were.
I was really tempted with the donuts. They're these little donut balls. I never had any donuts. Because I was feeling so ill, but maybe this year.
Oh, I know. Maybe this is your year for the. I'll just save some. We'll share them afterwards. This is a question from David Williams. I didn't know he's a big fan of the podcast. I didn't know he's a runner. I thought he was more of a swimmer. Jokes. As someone who lives and works full-time in the Scottish mountains as a mountaineering instructor with high daily volume but low intensity, no structured training, no coach, but strong finishes in both the Northern Traverse and Dragon's Back, how would you approach adding intentional speed or efficiency work without compromising my resilience or recovery? This is the $1 million question, David. We probably all get this a lot as coaches with athletes that do anything. Well, that just live generally, but do physical jobs as well. Russell, do you have some athletes in your stable that are...
Great question, David. the reason that I like this question so much is so pertinent right now because I don't know if you're familiar with the Western States Ultra. The guy who won is a guy called Caleb Olson, and his coach is a guy called Jack Quensley. Not really sure how to pronounce it. You guys?
Yeah. No, that I think
You're going to take my
Quenze or
point,
something,
Russell.
isn't
You're going
it?
to take my point here. So I knew you were
Oh,
going to.
were you going to go in for this, Trish?
I was going to. I'm pretty sure you're
Steal
going to.
your thunder.
One.
Well, anyway, Jack Quensley coaches Caleb Olson. Jack Quensley has got the Bob Graham FKT, which he took off Killian Journey, so that means he's pretty good. Anyway, he gets Caleb Olson doing a lot of walking, a lot of hiking, a lot with a backpack or I think a weight vest, and just really espouses the value in doing that. And I think a lot of us have known for a long time there is a lot of value in getting outside on natural terrain and walking. It's just brilliant base work. So the fact that you're out there doing that a lot, probably, yeah, high daily volume, I'm going to assume there's a lot of steps going in. That's just going to be helping you massively. And it's probably a reason that more than you've realized as to why you've done so well in the Northern Traverse and Dragon's Back. With the high intensity stuff, yeah, it's really important to do that once you've built that base. If you want to step up to another level, I think that is definitely somewhere to look. And then the answer is really frustrating. If you've got a coach who knows what they're talking about, they're going to say it depends, which is just really frustrating. But one quick way is just to put strides in at the end of every run. Yeah. And if you can get them like uphill, that's great too. Really great for power, running economy, recruiting muscle fibers, all these great things that don't tend to happen just by doing lots of slow volume. So moving into that anaerobic energy system. And strides is a great way to entry level into it. And if you only did 2 strides after every run, that might be 14 strides a week. That's a session, so you have accumulated a running intense session every week just by doing these little things. They do all add up and accumulate. Fartlek is massive. I love fartlek because you can just do that anywhere and you can run off feel and you can do it up and down and it doesn't matter. You're not against a watch or heart rate or anything. It's just entirely off feel. So something Eliud Kipchoge does 1 minute on, 1 minute off. And he does it times 40, but you can do it times 20 or whatever you've got. And you just can't go very wrong with fartlek. It's going to get you into a faster running motion, get those running mechanics better. So there would be the 2 that I would go to straight away. How much is up to you, how you feel. It might just be once a week to start off with that you put the fartlek in. And if you respond really well to that, you can look at increasing that. I'm old and rusty and I can only do 1 hard session a week. It takes me that long to recover. But if I know that, that's okay because I can still build on that. It just takes me a bit longer. Yeah, that'd be my advice.
Trish, you're a busy mum, lots of steps, school run.
I'm 10,000 steps this morning. I was going to say, so again, basically what Russell said, but in addition to what he said, there's a lot of good stuff that came out of Western States recently. Firstly, the point that Russell made, but also if you look at Killian's preparation for Western States, huge volume of zone 2, like really low intensity stuff where he was injured. Look at art studies. I always say, look at it like bricks in a wall. They're all just bricks. And what you're looking for is the trend of that wall in terms of what might be good and what might not be. There's so much good studies now that shows that actually volume over time, generally over time, will beat intensity. And if you go too much intensity too early, you have that peak, but actually the volume basically wins in the end. So the tortoise and hare, the tortoise will win in the end. Obviously, that's again, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt and be able to apply that appropriately. The bottom line is volume does work. It absolutely does. You can increase your VO2 with just volume alone, without a doubt. If I was you, I would look at maybe putting just 1 faster session in your week, just 1, and see how that goes. That could be something like a park run. It could just be, a threshold or a bit of a tempo, mix it up with some intervals every now and again. But I would start off with maybe just 1 and see how that works out for you. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I'm a massive fan of just time on feet and volume. Again, it's volume done appropriately. So if you're doing lots of volume, but not quite in zone 2, then that's going to potentially cause you injuries. You've got to do the volume at the right level. And it obviously looks like you're doing fantastic training in terms of that volume. It sounds spot on. But yeah, I would just put one fast session in a week and see how that works out for you.
I think you should look at, and I say this to maybe labourers, roof, people work, gardeners, they are hardcore. Yard work is the hardest, isn't it? Mums, dads who are young children, picking them up, putting them down, changing nappies, pushing the pram around. Like, you almost have to remind yourself that is training. Those hard days when you've got to do bedtime at the end of the day and you've been up since 4, like, this is all, if you are training to be an ultra runner, this is all training as well. So you give yourself some kudos as well. David, I was just thinking a little bit about how you could structure this, and hopefully you do have a day off as a mountain instructor as well. So I would probably be kind to yourself and not try and do anything hard on those big long days where mentally as well you've probably had to work really hard. Have a little look at your week ahead and go, right, this is the day I might finish early. The day is maybe a bit more of an admin day. That's the day I'm going to do my 4 by 20 second uphill strides and recover. So giving yourself the best chance to do it and see how you feel. And I would definitely just do strides. I think when you've got massive volume like that as well, and then the next day you can't be like Russell and lie around. The next day you have to show up for work. You could be in a life-saving situation, so you can't show up to work absolutely knackered. If I've got my camping weeks, for instance, I won't try and do a mega session because there's a zero chance of being able to recover. So I would just put strides in, like almost everyone. And then also I would just go out and see how I feel. And if I feel okay and I see a hill, I'll just put my heart rate up 10 beats, 15 beats and just run strong up the hill with no pressure, see how I feel. And I'll go, oh, I could do another one. Okay. And then I sort of gas myself into going, I'll do 4 and then I do 6. So if you don't like the structured approach as well, and you really have to see how you feel, just give yourself a little bit of planning of, this is the day I'm going to see how I feel. I'm going to put some strides in, and then I might just go see that hill. I'm just going to run up that out of breath. You don't need a heart rate. And then I'm going to jog home. So that is the sort of way we put it into that training and see how you'd feel. And then you can see how you feel in your day-to-day life and go from there. It's a really hard balance to get. It is a really hard balance to get when you're in a really physical, demanding job, and you do have to just know that your training will look different to everybody else's.
That training that you're doing is obviously...
It's all training. It's amazing.
Also, obviously effective. You've done well in Northern Traverse and Dragon's Back. Those are not easy races. I mean, Dragon's Back, you have to be fit to do Dragon's Back.
Well, he's a mountain instructor. He probably was on Crib Gok, with a conga behind him going, guys, what are you doing? Come on.
Awesome. Please send us a photo of that.
Rebecca, what do you do? Because you have got a mentally quite demanding job as well, and then you have to get yourself up for sessions and do it. I guess yours is you have to plan, don't you, when it's going to fit in?
Yeah, and I think trying to make it at the best time you possibly can, that's all you can do. There's always a compromise, but you just have to fit it in the best time that you can. Yeah, I tend to do my training at the end of a work day. So the hardest stuff on the treadmill is at the end of a work day, and that's just the only time I can really do it before I go home. So there is always a compromise. And if you've been... So I'm mentally active in the day, but really sedentary. But you're sort of fitting, up and down hills in the day. It's going to be hard then to want to do something harder again at the end of that day. But as the coaches have already said, that's probably the way you can at least fit it in at that point, maybe just before you finish.
I guess another big part, David, could be your nutrition as well. If you're on your feet and moving all day, my God, you've got to get that Tupperware sorted and make sure that you're fully fueled for not just your daily activity, but then if you need to go out training as well. And then add in harder training, the calorie intake has got to be pretty high and well thought through. Let us know, David, how you get on, what you do, what you add in, what's the next goal. Northern Traverse, Dragon's Back, Cape Wrath might be on your doorstep. We'll be looking out for you. Good luck. You used to go Strava. Do you remember?
Strava. It reminded me of Sega.
Yeah, I had a few friends that had that. I just looked over because I saw this shadow. I thought, what's something in the garden? And it's Lindy's having a dream and her tail's wagging.
I love it when dogs have a dream.
Rabbits. She's chasing
little
woofs.
Woof.
Terrible things to those rabbits.
The things I'm going to do to you.
Oh my God. Thanks, Harrier Trail Running, for sponsoring our Strava Club and the Tales from the Trails section. Harrier is the UK's fastest growing brand for trail runners, providing specialist kit designed for superior fit, comfort and function with the best customer support. Check them out for race vests, waterproofs, poles and other trail running essentials at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk. You can also download your free copy of How to Run an Ultra Guide. Do this, Gary, before Seven Valleys. Use T10 for 10% off site-wide, or check out their brilliant trail bundles for a special 20% off. I didn't breathe enough through that, Gary. I started getting one of my head rushes. You should be reading big text at the moment. The next gen Exmoor Pro waterproof jacket will launch this autumn in Atlantic Deep and Pirate Black. I saw that we're going to get a chance to try one of these.
Wow. Is that a farmer or a pirate? What does a pirate do then? What's the difference between a pirate and a farmer?
Pieces of meat. That's definitely.
Jim lad.
I think that's both. The awesome Harrier community voted in their masses, and these are the colours that came out on top. Earthy, timeless, and ready for anything. I think that sort of describes you, Gary. Earthly, timeless, and ready for anything.
Give me 5 minutes. That's what
a little warm up. I was listening to John Albon's story of the UTMB. This is why you don't allow me to read these sections, because I diverge. But I diverge. And he said before they started, they had to sit on the ground for 30 minutes, and then they just go up and start running. Oh my God.
Whoa.
my hamstrings, that would just not work for me. The kids always complain because they have to sit on the floor when they have assembly, and they're like, oh no, it's assembly.
Why
day.
did they have to sit on the floor? I know, like Leighton 100, you do like the race brief, and everyone's most.
Because you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to stand up for like 40 minutes before you're going to be on your feet for 20 plus hours, do you? I thought, oh my gosh. Anyway, 90 grams is the men's small, the Exmoor Pro, lightest, most technical jacket yet, featuring a 20,000 waterproof protection, 50,000 MVP breathability, and details designed for real runners, like the rollaway hood, wrap snap waisto, ventilation popper, thumb loops, and fully taped seams. I love this bit. Built from 100% recycled ocean waste nylon with no PFCs and no compromises. Pre-orders open in October, and there's a limited edition orange jacket too. Love the look of that. Orange jacket would be great in France when it's hunting season now, Gary. Do you remember we used to talk about this quite a lot? They're just allowed to go out in the mountain with their guns and shoot anytime.
But those red jackets, they are a mountain rescue's favourite, aren't they? Red jackets.
I always think that. When I'm looking at jackets, and I think there was a really lovely dark green one I saw, and I was like, but that is useless if you
What's the point
you're in trouble. How's our Strava club looking? I've not dished out any Strava love. I'm sorry, because I've had a bit of a
tight with the kudos. Shocking.
I'm gonna get back on it. Well, hold your breath if you're in our Strava club. It's coming. Kudos this week.
First up is Brenda Peak, 62.2 miles for the week, the longest run of 21.5 and 1,615 feet of vert. It's a request to follow for Brenda. With that long run and that amount of elevation for the week, maybe a road marathon coming up.
There's York, there's Chester coming up.
Yeah.
You'd be just about doing that now if you were training for one of those.
It's no Brenda. Thomas Avery is next, 75 miles for the week, with the longest run of 15 miles and 5,226 feet of vert. Bit of yoga and lots of miles in the capital for Thomas. I love running around a city. I wonder if he works or lives in London. Last up is Gaz Morris, 62.7 miles for the week, longest run of 20.2 miles and 12,395 feet of vert. Coaldale round, big boy version. That was a Summit bag heavy flex. I love the Summit bag. Do you have that in your Strava?
I don't. I would like to do it. It's something that I think I want to do that, and I've never done it.
Sometimes say Lakeland 100, ironically, you get like about 4 summits just because of the nature of the route. But yeah, the Coaldale round, that was incredible. And then also we did the RRC September Sizzler. I saw a picture over on Strava. Loads of people. Got some results. Hardmoor's Sutton Bank Sizzler. That's 2 sizzlers. I wonder what it is about sizzlers. So Stuart Smith took the win, Rory McIntosh second, and Tom Strawson completes the podium. And for the ladies, Hannah Eccles came first, Bethany Benger second, and Philippa Atkinson completes the podium. Also, an update from last week.
I love it when you guess what they're doing and they come back with something either we've guessed right or we're totally wrong.
You were
right?
nailed on.
I think we were.
Yeah, where Ian works overseas or offshore, I'm not too sure exactly. So 67 miles of his week. was on a treadmill.
Ian, kudos.
But he also did the Great North Run 2, and it's a smoking fast, 1 hours and 23 minutes and
I'd be pretty happy with
30.
that.
I would be gushing if I got that time. Now, Ian started running in 2022 to 2025 or 123. That is incredible. He's got a really powerful wide too. And hopefully I'll bump into Ian on the moors in 2026. I'm not too sure if he's going to do the whole series or he's just going to do a few of the Hard Moors Marathon series. They're local trails for Ian. So yeah, fingers crossed, Ian. See you then. Talking about Hard Moors, we've got a birthday shout out. One of the Hard Moors dream team, Shirley Steele. Happy birthday, Shirley. Hope you had a wonderful day. Hi, Eddie and Gary. I was wondering if you could give a quick birthday shout out to my dad, Mark, as he's turning 56 on Friday, the 26th of September. My dad is amazing and a long-time listener. He's been a huge inspiration to my fledgling running journey when I finally got with the rest of the family's running program. Reluctantly and mainly in part due to FOMO after they all signed up to our local half. Most recently, he accompanied me on the last 8 mile of my penultimate long run before my first marathon in October, and prior to that the whole family ran the Tea and Trails Ultra, with him running the 50k and the rest of us running the 30k. Oh well, thanks for coming along, thanks for supporting us. I'm sat writing this shout out in Terminal 3 of Beijing Airport, waiting for my flight to Sydney, Australia, where I'll be doing some travelling and a marathon in Perth, so would be super grateful if you could read this out on the podcast, as I won't be there with him on the day. Happy birthday, Dad. Leo Thackstone. P.S. Eddie, I'll never forget the dopey smile he had on his face after you noticed he was wearing one of the OG blue Tea and Trails buffs and pointed it out. That would have been a Run to the
Tea and
Hills
Trail
buff.
buff, sadly. Yeah, it's Run to Hills.
More
Retro
than
reviews. Am I going to get to do anything on this podcast? I've literally been sitting here choosing the kids' birthday presents.
Go on then.
Slowly, you're going to read it all, and you'll end up being, and I won't listen for a few weeks podcast, and I'll be like, Gary, I wasn't in the podcast at all.
We won't be the top trail running podcast, Eddie. It was all left to me.
Yeah, we would. Hat review coming in, steaming hat. More than a running podcast from Stu the Runner. Running podcast. Oh, just a podcast, really. Long-time listener, Patreon devotee. I love that. How are you a Patreon devotee? I mean, there should be some codes of conduct you have to do.
You could have a devotee tier.
Devotee tier. I love Eddie and Gary and their crazy antics, the random chat, life-changing tears, laughter, innuendos, and even some trail running chat. There's nothing better than Tea and Trails to ease you through the long miles on the trails. I've learned so much from the coaches, guests, and Eddie and Gary, some of it about running. Most of all, I felt closer to the community I love. We should have that. We should have that on the top of our, what do we have? A web page.
Bio. There we go.
Top of our bio. We love you too, Stu. Thanks for listening. Keep on plodding. Thank you, Protein Rebel, for bringing us home, gentle on your stomach, driving your performance. I'm having to share my powder protein. Liz messaged us saying, Eddie,
I've got to order some, yeah.
You've got to order some. So I was like, can I just have more protein powder? Because I have children, one of whose new mantra, because he always makes me laugh, he's like, more protein, more passion, more footwork. I pick him up and go, how's your day? And he's like, more protein, more passion, more footwork. Oh, he makes me laugh so much. I just need more protein. How much protein's in this, Mum? No, it's 6 grams. It's not enough. It's not enough, Mum. It's really funny, the generational shift. There is, where they're like not interested in the actual thing they need, the carbohydrate, and fat comes into nothing, or they are obsessed with their protein intake. It must be the algorithms driving this. They see the big boys.
It's the guns.
Big tins of, and if they're in the big rugby teams, they get these, I told you this before, they get extra protein yogurt at lunch. which Finley loves flaunting to Rory, who's the protein passion footwork guy. He's like, oh my God, he's had 20 grams more than me. I love it. So I was just, send me more protein powder. Don't worry, I don't actually let them, don't come up, I don't actually let them use the protein powder. I just flaunt it in front of them and tell them to go and eat an egg. Whether you're driving to get a PB, training for your first marathon, breaking world records, dressed as a rhino, protein rubbers are easy to digest with no artificial additives, providing both performance and overall health benefits. Use code T15 for 15% off your first order over at proteinrebel.com, and patrons can enjoy 15% off every order. Pop over to Patreon for your discount codes.
Shout out to the Humble Maple Ignite Energy Gel. 24 grams of carbs and only 2 ingredients, Canadian maple syrup and sea salt. We talked about our favourite syrup. I salt everything. What is your favourite food to salt?
Oh, I love a roast potato or butternut roasted vegetables with salt on.
Any potato. Oh my goodness, mate.
I just love salt. I'd
Eggs,
probably put it over.
tomatoes,
Yeah. Oh,
lettuce.
yeah. One of our favourite hiking snacks is a boiled egg, hard-boiled egg that we take up in a bag, and then we just take the salt pot with us, and then we sit on top of the mountain. We throw the eggs down the hill until they crack, and then we eat them with some salt. What a wholesome family activity that is. Can you imagine the arguments and the stamping of the eggs and then somebody breaks? But I can paint it as a lovely picture.
Do you have salty porridge? That's a thing in Scotland, isn't it?
Salty porridge? No. Could try.
Like literally water and salt, that's the ingredients.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Perfect.
Not sure about that. Really?
They have every year they have the World Championship porridge games in Scotland somewhere. I'm blanking on where it is. And I think you're only allowed to use oats, water and salt.
And it's who makes the best or who eats the most?
I think it's the best, yeah. Also chicken soup, if you're not a vegetarian, obviously, but chicken soup with some salt on it.
Salty broth. Can't go
I
wrong.
would eat a layer of it and then resalt it. That's a lot of salt, Gary.
You've got an issue.
It's like sugar on cereal. This is why I don't have sugary
That's
cereal.
banned in our house.
Sugar in the
Yeah,
house.
you're not allowed. You can have in the holidays honey. What are they called? Crunchy nut cornflakes.
Oh, I'm a fear.
But if you add honey on the top of that, you're in trouble. You are.
So I'd eat the layer, I'd drink the milk so I could get more cornflake to coat with sugar, then I would just repeat.
We've got a question. It's quite a sad question, this, but it's totally normal as well. Miserable Lakeland runner, we're going to make you feel better. Hi, I've been listening to a podcast for the last 6 months. Where have you been, my friend? Just love it. Thanks to the man in Up and Running who recommended it. Wonder how they got onto that question. How do you get onto that?
That could have been Ray. Maybe he had a t-shirt on. Could have been repping some merch. If that was Ray, he definitely would have had a Teen Trails t-shirt on.
My question is, are post-rail blues real, or am I just being a really, really grumpy cow? I did the Lakeland 100 for the first time this year, heavy flex, and can only describe it as the best, worst thing I've ever done. I've never gone that far before, and I really did put all my effort into training for it. The elation of finishing was amazing. Although my race didn't go exactly to plan, I'm glad that it didn't, as it definitely showed me I was mentally much stronger than I ever realised. I was definitely high on life for the first few weeks after. For the last 2 weeks, however, I've been so grumpy. My poor husband just looks bewildered. I've gone from being so happy and pleased myself to sniping and grunting away, the poor man. I wouldn't have thought any of this until he suggested it might be the post-Lakeland Blues. God, I bet that went down well. Calm down, love. Calm down. Step away from the dishwasher. You're just a bit down. Obviously, I bit his head off, but when a friend then mentioned it, I didn't bite her head off, of course not. It did make me think, is this what is wrong with me? Is it a real thing? If it is, what do I do to get myself out of this funk? Even getting an entry into Lakeland 100 2026 didn't help. In fact, it made it worse. Any advice, greatly appreciated. More for the sake of my husband, so I can tell him there's an end in sight to the misery of living with me. Laughing emoji. Many thanks, the miserable post-Lakeland runner. Don't be miserable. First, this is perfectly normal, and I'm afraid it's part of your training program that you need to factor in that the 2 weeks after any race, you're going to crash and it's going to feel horrible. Warn your loved ones, warn your husbands, wives, children. You're just going to have this low mode. But there is science behind this. So again, if you learn a little bit of the science, it will reassure you that you're perfectly normal, but it might be good to share as well. So when you do your race and you're training for your race, you get obviously your brain is flooded with all the endorphins and the dopamine and the feel-good chemicals. You're in that really focused, you've got the adrenaline, you've got the cortisol, you're totally focused on training and totally focused on the race. And then after the race, smash You lose that. You lose the painkiller. You lose the natural high. You lose the dopamine that your brain isn't getting any reward, which it loves, the dopamine. So you almost get a little bit of like depression. I would call it probably more like a really low mood. That's sort of what I like to describe it as a bit. Alongside that, you're probably dealing with some massive physical, especially if you've never done 100 before, your body's response to what it's physically gone through is huge. You've got no carbohydrate. You've got no glycogen left in your system. You've got no resources, so you feel really low, you're really hungry, you're really tired, you eat, then you don't want to eat, you kind of sleep, or your legs hurt so much that you can't sleep. Your electrolytes are all imbalanced, you might be cramping, you might have twitchy legs, your muscles, you're struggling to sit on the loo to get in and out of the car, just to function as a normal person. And alongside that, you'll probably get a cold and feel horrible, or a bit of a sickness bug, and all your hormones are out of whack. You might get your period if you're a woman. That quite often happens because the body goes, what's happening? The hormones are suddenly really shifted. So you're not in a good spot, but it's good to know you're not alone and this will happen. And especially when it's your first really big race, this can be a real shock to the system and a real crashing low that you might never experienced before in your life. So you've got no tools to deal with it. Reassure yourself, and anybody who's listening, if you've done like a big ultra or a big race, when it happens again, and I'm afraid it will always happen, you will always get this come down, that it's never as bad because you recognize the feelings and you just know. And there's a couple of little tricks you can do. And I think one of the biggest ones is eating. Is like, just keep eating as much as you can. All the foods that you normally perhaps wouldn't eat, burgers, pizzas, chips, just get as much calories in so that your body gets that message. It's time to restore that balance. Make sure you drink, like your training now, instead of running, is to replenish your body, both like with the food, the drink, but also like to get those hormones back on a level as well. And find something else to do for a couple of weeks. Do a project, very low energy project. Don't do gardening, don't do yard work. I always read a book, Gary. I find a book and I'm like, I'm just going to give myself the gift of just sitting and reading this book. Try to stay away from screens and stuff because that dopamine hit is not really what you want. But know that you're not alone and know that it will pass, and that food and sleep are your friends. And always, if you're grumpy with your partner or your friends, just then follow with a, sorry, I'm just feeling a bit down. And that's fine.
Food always helps. I do like this time where I get so focused on elevation profiles for runs. This is the time I maybe would go a bit off grid and go on little routes that I wouldn't normally go on, go exploring. But yeah, wow, you've had something that's been front and center of your mind for so long. And then especially an event like Lakeland, you've just got the rush of the event too. Yeah, the blues, the post-race blues are epic. Reconnect with people. There's a lot of people I owe some time to. And with experience, that blues softens every time round.
Yeah, it does. That's a good word to use. It does soften, and you know how to treat it as well. We send you love, and anybody in this situation, we've been there. You've heard me on the podcast. Go back. If you're feeling alone, just go back to any of my post-race podcasts. You're going to feel a whole lot better about yourself. Big love.
How did your week look? We are Tuesday.
I'm crushing those 10-minute miles. What happens, Gary, when I get some iron in my body? It doesn't make any difference. And I'm just
like Popeye. Arms are going to go bing, bing.
Bing, 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 bing. I've set myself an arbitrary goal this week, and I'm not sure if it will happen. Probably won't. I've got a really busy weekend. I am going up to Ben Nevis with Area Events.
I'll never see you again, Eddie. The offers are going to come rolling in.
They are going to come. I will be BBC Sport.
Match of the day.
So I've got to dress. I've got to have a shower and stuff before that, haven't I? I can't be like, I have to get dressed up for that. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm hoping that it's heavily edited. It's not. Oh dear. Control yourself. Really looking forward to that. It's going to be a new experience. Might do a bit of jogging with Tom Evans, sip on a Red Bull, see what happens. The weather forecast looks wild. I'll hopefully have lots of adventures to tell you about next week, and check out their media team packages, and you might see me in the background being pushed aside. We don't think we'll use her. No, I don't think we'll use her. Cancel. And if you're running, come say hi. Come say hi if you're doing one of the races. There's loads of different distances. There's 100K that looks spicy. Good luck if you're doing any of those races. Yeah, so just a little bit of jogging, my 2 strengths, tick those off, doing everything I can. There's lots I've learnt about anemia and running. I've read so much stuff. I found some good resources, all sorts of, I mean, there's so much I could talk about it for hours. And it's also very individual, but I'm trying to find the right balance between movement, iron resupply. I'm going to know in basically 2 weeks' time whether my iron has gone up at all, and then that will be a big, what am I going to do next? If none of the iron is going up, or if it's going up very slowly, then there's some other decisions to be made. So it's just a case of waiting to see and doing everything I can to support my health. You, however, you got some sessions to do.
I feel like I'm fighting fires already. Anyone will know this as a parent, and like Rex is partly responsible for this. So yesterday, I had to take George. So I had this plan. I had the week planned. What I was going to do: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That was a foolish thing to do. Very foolish thing to do.
I had to take George to the doctors, so that kind of robbed me of 2 hours of what was already a time-pressed day. And then Rex was poorly last night, so I had a horrendous sleep. So anyone I know who's got other things going on in their life, that all these best laid plans just get a curveball every now and again. I say this, come the end of the week, I'll do 80 plus miles. So
I know, that's why I just don't, no, you don't get, did you know, I just go quiet. You just settle and I just go to my happy place of like fitting in 5 miles a day.
The most exciting thing is on Saturday, I'll be supporting a mate, Gary Spalding, on his Bob Graham round. I'm on.
Oh, what's the weather looking like, Gary? Is it the weekend for a Bob Graham round?
It's looking, I've not checked Saturday and Saturday, but it looked like it was improving later on in the week.
Oh, good.
Leg 4 for myself and Robbo Dream Team. I think of all the legs, leg 4 is the best. So
yeah,
super chuffed.
yeah, I hear you.
Hopefully all smiles. And the dude from the round, he runs out with a nice fizzy pint for Gary after a successful Bob Graham round. I did notice also the 7 valleys, the 13 valleys, the 5 valleys and the 2 valleys, they have a really good early bird offer at the moment. So if you're like a lost soul after the Lakeland 100, maybe you missed out on the ballots, then defo check this out. I'll be going back again in 2026. 2 or 5, I'm not 100% sure. I'd like to do the full stack. I'd like to do the 13, 7, 5, 2. It's like a long-term goal. Also, Lisa would like to do the 5 valleys too, to celebrate her birthday. It's a significant saving, so if you are on the fence, check it out. And it does sell out, so don't hang around. And also, this is probably the most exciting thing, and I think I'm going to be disappointed because the System of a Down are playing next year at Tottenham Stadium in the UK, and those tickets are going to go super fast. And I've seen they've got various pre-sales, and they've got Ticketmaster pre-sales, they've got O2 priority, they've got some other things. I am not privy to any pre-sales, so I'm going to be picking up the scraps.
I've no idea what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, it's not going to be like Oasis. It's not going to be the
What is
stampede
it?
of Oasis.
What is it even?
It's a band. Oh, a System of a Down. They're a metal band, heavy metal band.
Oh, surely that's not going to sell out.
Well, they've not played live since
Oh my God.
2017.
You want to go and listen to this, Gary? Really?
Oh my goodness, mate. I've been schooling George. George has downloaded all the
Okay,
System
I
of a Down,
love
so
it.
he's gonna come.
Okay.
But how much would you? This for me, this
I
is
wouldn't
quite
pay
an
anything.
important band.
I wouldn't pay anything.
Well, a band that you Taylor Swift. I don't know, whatever it was.
Oh, again, I wouldn't pay anything.
I'm trying to think what my budget is.
Oh,
But
yeah.
for 2 tickets, is £200 each too expensive?
It's going to be an expensive trip then, because you're going to have to go to London, travel to London, pay for accommodation, all your food. But if it's something that you love, you can't put a price on memories, Gary. And heavy metal, I'd be there if I had the time.
There's 2 bands that got away. One was Slayer and one System of a Down.
I wouldn't say they got away. I would say they were put in a box where they were.
These guys aren't young anymore, so there's a good chance they'll never come back.
I look forward to where this journey entails, and if I see a big triple figure come out of the podcast account,
Dip into the Patreon. But July, so it's a month after my birthday, so I'm using it as a bit of a, if I can have that as my birthday prezi. I think I'll have to pay for George though. He's 18. When do you stop paying for your kids?
You never. It's funny because you won't buy a room for the night before the Northern Traverse, and I know what will happen because I've booked a room and you're going to end up on my floor again. You cheapskate.
Eddie.
Eddie. What are you doing, Eddie? And I'm cold. I'm cold. And yet you would do it. Your priorities are funny. But I love that. It's good. Go to the heavy metal concert and you can sleep on the floor. We can cover it all. We can
That's a
cover
deal.
it all. Right, let's
That's a
get going. Got things to do. I've got my media meeting coming up. Must not say anything. Must be careful. Just do what they ask me to do. Must make sure my microphone is turned off.
I can't wait. I'm
I
going to be
can't
glued to the
wait.
Instas over the weekend.
Eddie looking awkward. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Share the episode, share the pod, share the love. Pop over to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, or even consider funding Gary's heavy metal habit by joining Patreon. Thanks to X Miles for Simple Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, Harrier Trail Running, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring the show. Here's our discount codes: T10 2025 for Shocks, T15 for Protein Rebel, T-Time 2025 for Simple Hydration, and T10 for Harrier Trail Running. Thank you to our partners, patrons. We couldn't do this without you and your ongoing support.
Good luck to everybody out on the trails, racing, training, recce, solo miles or miles with mates. It is World Rhino Day on the 22nd of September. So yeah, show the rhino some love. Also this weekend, you've got the Harbour Moors 60. Good luck to everybody out there. And the Solomon Skyline 2. There's loads of races going on. That is super exciting. Yes, say hello to Eddie if you see her out there. With a mic and camera. I can't wait. Love it.
You can't wait because you just know that unedited. Even Shane went, Eddie, this is live. So you're going to need to.
Yes. I can't wait for it. It's going to be sensational. Well, good luck, Eddie, with all of that. But let the trail rise to meet you and the wind always be on your back. Be kind to your future self. Don't think, just swallow. Breathe and believe and roll with the joy, and the miles will look after themselves. My name is Gary Thwaites.
And I'm Eddie Sutton.
And that was the Tea and Trails podcast.